Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Founders Corner. I'm your host Neil Macadia, from one of the co-founders from N5 Solution, where we help IT companies like yourself with all their accounting needs. So today I wanted to kind of go through a little bit about how we arrange our financial statements. Before I kind of just wanted to go a little brief overview of what a financial statement is. So basically, a financial statement is kind of shows what the company's financial status is. It shows what their operating result is for a period and how the company obtained its cash during the period. Within the financial statements, you have a balance sheet and income statement. Your balance sheet is kind of just more of a summary view of the financial position at a particular date. It has all your assets, which will involve your cash, receivable, inventory, building equipment. Your liabilities, these are all your payables, your accounts payable, note payable, mortgage payable, your even payroll tax payable, all those liabilities that you have. And owner's equity is basically the net assets after all the obligations have been satisfied. So everything else, so basically you have your assets minus your liability, basically then everything else would fall into owner's equity. Within the financial statement alone, you have your revenue, which generates your income, your cost of goods sold. This is all the costs associated making your income. The expenses are basically just your general expenses for operating the business, and then net income is basically everything, all the revenue minus all your costs. So when you here's an example of how you want to kind of put together your balance sheet. A lot of times, especially right out of QuickBooks, the balance sheet is not really nicely presented in a nice format for investors. So, you have to kind of go back and summarize things. You obviously don't want to show 5 bank accounts. They just want to see a summary snapshot where they could take a look. The example above here I just gave, you can see that, it seemed definitely Q3 is where this company got its funding from, because if you look, the cash jumped $4 million, and then the investors is at $7 million. So see how easily someone looking at the numbers could very easily point out where the cash is. Even right here, Q1, you would expect deferred revenues to be high, and slowly they diminish as it goes down. Hopefully in Q1 on the next following year, you'll see the deferred revenue go back up. So balance sheet does tell you what the story of the company, and it's really important to have accurate numbers. So the financial statement, that's another area too in QuickBooks. A lot of times the stock chart of accounts in QuickBooks doesn't divide out your income based on your segment. A lot of times in the SaaS IT space, we want to segregate out your R&D cost, your G&A cost, and your R&D costs. This way it helps really tell a true story of your numbers. So by presenting it in this way, you can see that instead of having wages lumped up in one sum, you could say, hey, well, this is a portion, out of all my wages. This is how much I'm spending in sales and marketing. This is how much I'm spending in G&A, and this is how much I'm spending in R&D. And then you also want to kind of separate out your cost of goods wages as well. So here in this situation, they have some wages in a different country where they're probably basically deploying their software out to the customers and spending that much money here, and then the hosting the money that they're spending on hosting their solution. So you want to kind of separate out all that to really show. So right here, just the cost of doing the business itself, that's your gross profit. And then your R&D is how much you're spending, and then sales and marketing. A lot of times investors want to know where their money is going, so you have to make sure that your sales and marketing reflects, all your costs reflect properly, because you want to make sure. A lot of times they want you to spend that money in sales and marketing, R&D. If they see that you're spending a lot of money in G&A, they'll obviously ask you what's going on here. Why would I spend money on the executive salary or things like that? So that's kind of the step you want to take a look. So basically, if anyone else has any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to comment below. We could definitely address any